Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C, and this is your weekly chart blast. So I'm getting ready for a nice guys weekend here, but I couldn't leave without saying goodbye. So I am packed and ready to go. So wouldn't be right to close out the week without looking at Mike Trout and his friends here. So Mike Trout, looking at the PSA 10 momentum flattening out, but still in his downtrend here, is trying to poke his head above resistance a few times here. Snuck into this range, and maybe that's enough. Or maybe we have to come back down and mess around in this range a bit here to really attract some buying. But we're running out of room here at this support level here, so prices are compressing lower. So ideally we'd like to see some buyers step in and push this out and grind sideways and maybe upwards a little bit here. But until that happens, the trend does remain down. You could see some slightly lower prices. Now the PSA 9 is around $1,300 here, and the BGS is sitting around $1,760. So if you are looking for one, you may check out, it's just for you, check out one of these lower priced options. But this does imply something in that let's see, $3,500 $4,000 range for the PSA 10, or the 10 is implying that this should be closer to $1,000. So we'll see how that works out and which direction it goes, as we do look at him every week, because he will give you kind of the general direction for parts of the modern baseball market. Miggy Cabrera coming up on 500 home runs, and a little bit down the road 3,000 hits, and so you should be able to get both of those. You can see that he's at the top of his shorter term range here. But there's a lot of buying here, very quick buying. So I think people are, a couple of things here. People are going to take advantage of these milestones, and they're just putting more of these cards up for sale. You can see that selling and buying has been rather sparse over a period of time. And so maybe more of these are coming up, but there's interest in they're getting snapped up quickly, which is a good sign here. So we could see a nice break out of this one, but for the time being, risk reward slightly unfavorable. It is a wide-ish range. But yeah, Miggy, if he's on your radar, you just wait a little bit here. Let the milestones pass. The 500 home runs, that's a big deal. That's not when you buy into here. So all right, a couple of other greats, Ichiro and Albert Pujols. They're 2001 tops traded in the Chrome. So when did they go from traded to update? So anyways, longer term trend has been broken. You're testing the underside of that and coming back into a range where there's been a little bit of buying in the past. So your risk reward sets up favorably on this one. A lot of videos out there, a lot of comments out there right now saying, hey, this is just the last gasp of the market. You'll get a pop and then sell it, or dead cat bounce. This thing isn't over. Nobody knows. I don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. All we can do is manage our risk, and this is how you do it here. So if you're in this range, about $425, and it starts to leak below that, and this is a card you're trying to make money on, you don't want to lose money on, then you sell it below that. Just manage your risk. That's the best you can do as far as, and this is what we say, price is truth. Doesn't care what anybody thinks, so no one knows for sure, and I don't really put a whole lot of stock into what people think. I'll just let the market tell me what is going on. Like Mookie Betts sitting at the bottom of the range and getting a pop here. Kind of unpredictable that one person is going to take the price from sub 300 up to 425, but it happened. That's how it goes. So bringing up to an area of resistance, and not sure that this is where you chase it here. It's turning momentum up just a little bit with that one sale, but we need to see more buying and more sustained buying in here to really get this thing ripping and get people on board. For the time being, it could pull back. But yeah, if you're looking for a Mookie, maybe this isn't the spot. If you can get it closer to that 300, 350, something like that, maybe that's it. No, if people start chasing this thing, then what do you do? But for now, one person thinks this is the price. Lots more people recently think that this is the price, somewhere in here. All right, Vlad. Momentum rolling over just a little bit, but the trend is clearly up here. He's bounced along nicely. People are respecting the range for the most part. So I think the important thing to watch out for is how does he do in Toronto? All right, he's going away from that AAA park, going to the big field. And his home road splits were they were very generous to his AAA home. So we'll have to watch that. His average is dipping a little bit, but he's still hitting the ball, and that's not going to change. But the power may have a little bit of a drop off. So basically, he could cool off, and is that enough to bring his cards to drop his cards down? So not as of yet, but important to manage that. And again, with his prices where they're at, should he be worth double of some guys that have been around for 8 years are on a pretty nice Hall of Fame track? Shohei Ohtani, this is a card that We had a target price of around 260 to 270, got up to 290 and said that's it, we're out. And it has dropped down to $180, but it brings you to the bottom of the range. So if this is a card you're looking for, your risk reward does set up favorably. So you buy here, and if it starts to leak out of this, then you sell. Otherwise, you can catch a pop back up into those mid 200s or something like that, potentially. I don't know. All right, the batting version, rookie debut, bottom of the range and getting a pop. So the previous version sitting at the bottom of the range. The update is at the bottom of the range, but getting a nice little lift here. So you're in this kind of this consolidation zone here. So again, below this, bad, and above this, good. So again, 27 years old. Is he going to have an Ichiro type trajectory? Who knows? But for now, this is a heck of a lot of fun to watch. So what was that video today? They tried to pick him off 5 times at first. He stole second base anyways. That's pretty awesome. So, all right, Juan Soto, big pop last week. It's like, yeah, good luck with that one. And dropping back down into a zone where there's been enough buying in this area here. So the momentum is turning up. And, again, not that these things are going to rocket back up. I mean, who knows? But it looks like you could be in for some sideways as people just kind of shy away from these prices. You'll get some one-offs, but they come back into this range pretty frequently. And again, those prices, is he going to be in 8 years on a really, really good Hall of Fame track, which is what this price would kind of indicate. Who the heck knows? But for now, risk reward managed. And I meant to throw in a just the regular, with some of the higher end cards are doing a little bit better than some of the base cards, and of course they're gonna be worth more, but are they more of a safety play or anything like that? And I meant to throw in the regular batting, but I've got a couple of golds here, but the PS9 gold is really kind of on a similar trajectory to that regular PSA 10 and of the base card. And so then the PSA 10 gold, you see, has plumbing new lows, while the 9 and the base cards are starting to tick up just a little bit here. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The gold started its downtrend a little bit before, his peak a little bit before the regular cards. And so again, we'll see. I mean, this was holding up a little bit better for a period of time, so we'll see if there's any leadership on that one. But again, just look at the individual names if you really want to look at this stuff. Fernando Tatis, top of the range, coming out just a little bit. Decent amount of buying at the top of the support zone, so we'll see if that is the case. Once again, maybe a little bit more downside. But just keep going with that price theme here. Is that too much for a guy that's been in the league for a couple of years? I mean, this track and what he's doing is pretty incredible, but can he do it over the next decade or so? So coinciding with his injury, it's like there's a psychological level anyway. So it was probably going to happen one way or another. Tatis, this is the X Factor in a PSA 9. It's gotten hit with everything else, but instead of coming back into a area of support at a lower price, it's grinding sideways. So we'll see what happens. It breaks one or the other, but there is interest in some of the higher end parallels of these guys. Bo Bichette continues to grind sideways in this consolidation zone here. Look at what he's doing. You're just respecting the upper trend line here. 22 years old, 23 years old. He's hitting 285, 20 home runs. He'll finish the season 280, 290, 30 home runs, and I continue to be a buyer. So that's one of my newest pickups. We'll do a official reveal on the mail day in a couple weeks, but I like what the buyer did on those one touches. I do it as well, but cards aren't going to fit in a penny sleeve and then into a one touch, but they put the penny sleeve over the card, and especially with those chromes, they bow out a little bit, and it will protect the surface because they jiggle a little bit in those one touches, and you sure don't want any scratches or take out an autograph or something like that. So if you have a one touch, lay a penny sleeve above it, or a sheet of or a piece of plastic or something like that doesn't distract too much, but to protect your card. Luis Robert, PSA 10. This is his base card, top of the range here. So he broke his downtrend and starting, retested it, and he's traveling up. Now you're at the top of the range, so kind of make or break for Mr. Luis Robert. We'll see what happens, but I think that's close enough to a bottom that there's a couple items of his that I wanted, and I picked up a few things, and there's some auctions I was getting beat out on as well. So we'll see how that goes. But there is definite interest in his cards. Ronald Acuna, this is the update. The longer term trend is down, but as we pointed out last week, he's kind of at the bottom of that range here. So he's getting a little bit of a lift, bringing it up to this resistance area here. So it's, again, when you see one sale lifted up, it's like, all right, all these people believe this is the price. This dude thinks that's the price. Who's going to win that one? So came back down. Now you consider at the top of the range. So around in here is, you know, if you want an Acuna, this is kind of where you look for his stuff. If it breaks below this, then you sell it. And you could see $70 if that happens, but we're not anywhere near that yet. It's nice to see people showing interest in his card so quickly after his injury. That is going to keep him out for a while. And here's a number of his cards here. So we've got the Refractor. I can't even read. So base and a Prospects Chrome, and then the Bat Down. The Bat Down's the big one here. So we are seeing some of these other cards tick up in terms of the Refractor, the At Bat, and the Prospects Chrome. So shout out to our friend Dakota. You know, looked at Acuna earlier and put in the Refractor. So I had this chart loaded up. I'm like, yeah, let's look at the Refractor, see if it's doing anything different. So it is getting demand along with these other ones, but the Bat Down continues to plumb some new lows. So we'll see. We'll see which side is right on that one here. So is the really high end getting kind of shunned for the base and the low end as the base cards start to pick up? I don't know. Rafael Devers Chrome, top of the range, sneaking back in, tried to break out, couldn't hold it. So for now, you consider it top of the range. If we do move back down to $60-$70, you're looking for Rafi, that's probably more likely your spot. Risk reward unfavorable at the current time. Luka Basketball. All right, Luka, pretty strong buy signal. Coming in about $750, but honestly, on this breakdown, Fibonacci had the 665 area kind of highlighted. And so we're looking for that sub $700 move, and we got it. So $680 to $700 is kind of your support zone here, and it's ripping. It's getting up to an area where there's a little bit of upside still. You know, maybe that $1,000 area or something like that. But like most cards, maybe it just has to grind sideways. But we'll see what happens with the season, you know, starting to get underway a little bit. Momentum is strong, but perhaps flattening out, but nowhere near a sell on that particular card. LeBron James, Michael Jordan we usually start with, but honestly, he's in that range of 8,000 to 10,500, and he's still in that range, so it's just grinding sideways. LeBron James, looked at him last week up against resistance at a breakout, could bring you up to $27,000 in that measured move. Did not break out. It got rejected, like Hakeem Olajuwon. There's a current reference for all you kids here. So into the support zone where there's been buying in the past. So see if they step in once again. Buy here, you sell here, rinse, repeat until you get a breakout or a breakdown. All right, Chris Paul got a trade. Going home, kind of, I think. I think that's how that works. But anyways, he had this topping pattern here with a breakdown. Look for a move at least into this area, and quickly got it. But the trade rumor, he's relevant all of a sudden again. So there we go. I'm gonna put this down for just a second here. I'm not gonna catch anything. I don't even have anything on my hook, so that's just a bobber. But yeah, so quickly came and again, any sort of news, if you get a trade or whatever, I mean, that's going to spark some interest, and there's a little bit of lift off, and that kind of stuff's a little bit harder to to predict. So it happens from time to time. Carmelo Anthony also making his way out to out west here. So trend remains down, sitting at the top of the range, but pretty well defined support if you're looking for this card. Just give it a little bit of room. And what is that? That's like $200 and currently sitting at 500. So that's not insignificant movement right there. So if it breaks out, then you got to go for it. But your probabilities would say, all right, is third time a charm? Who knows? Just wait and see on that one here. And remember when the Joker won the MVP? That was awesome. So we had this breakdown out of the wedge, looking for a return into this area, and we got it quickly, and it's hooking back up with a lot of basketball cards. So seasonality would say this is the time that cards would start to do well here. So, and it's happening in an area where there's been buying in the past. And David Robinson, I mean, it's $100, and gosh, I mean, he was, what a great player the Admiral was, and there's worse ways to I've seen how you guys spend your money. I know how I spend my money. It's like $100. That's probably one of the better purchases I would make, at least. So gotta respect the Admiral. All right, football. Tom Brady, top of the range here. I don't think there's a sale since last week at all. So momentum's still flat, still top of the range. If you are buying a card like this, you kind of mark this area as your line of support, and below that, then you dump it. So that's how that works. Baker Mayfield, a couple of guys that some people that were out of national we're talking about that were hot names here. So So Baker Mayfield. Did I say that first time or did I say Baker? I don't remember. Anyways, momentum is on a sell signal, but the bands are really, really narrow, so that's a strong move. This is a not much happening move, and so you're not seeing a whole lot happening. You've got the support zone here that is holding up just fine until it isn't, and so if you're looking for a Baker, you buy here, and then if it starts to leak below this, then you dump it. So the trend is down in the intermediate term, but yeah, we'll see how that goes here. Training camp starting up, maybe does something super special and probably draw another trend that way. Something super special and drives those prices back up. But this does kind of look like a continuation pattern. So if it does break up, maybe we'll get more buyers on board and make that more of a sustainable high water mark. All right, Josh Allen, another player that the guys were talking about here. So bottom of the range, we've looked at him in the past and had a favorable. Looked favorable, and so we are getting that bounce here, but you're coming up into an area of pretty decent resistance. So backing off just a little bit. We'll see again. We'll see what happens with the training camp and all that kind of stuff here. So again, down in here, way better than up here for now. So Patrick Mahomes is the Prism Silver. I kind of like the optic, but got to mix it up a little bit here, right? Trend is up. Long-term trend is broken. Honestly, it was broken a while ago, so just kind of the retest. So leaking below this support zone here, so there's a little bit of room perhaps, but the momentum is down and it's a fairly powerful move here. So continues to trend lower, and we'll see where that stops. And so we're seeing this out of a lot of those higher end players that they're consolidating sideways and starting to kind of leak out just a little bit here. So I don't know if people are just taking profits on it or what's going on, but need to see some buying come in relatively quick on that one. Oh, and by popular demand, Carson Wentz, uptrend. Now he's testing the bottom of this one where there has been pretty decent buying in the past, at least for a pop. Sellers are coming in quicker and quicker, but the buying has been here in the past, so that works until it doesn't. But with Carson, is all the bad news kind of factored in at this point, and for the first 10 or 11 weeks, you're not gonna throw an interception, so got that going for him, which is nice. All right, Drew Brees raw. You'll see a lot more of this one in a few weeks. So Tommy and I will be doing our 3 and out series, similar to our baseball 3 up and 3 down, where we look at risers and fallers for football cards. So Drew Brees and Jerry Rice raw cards. Those seem to always make it in. But we'll also head over to Star Stock and look at a few players that had good weekends. Depending on whether or not they helped or hurt my fantasy team mostly. So anyways, Drew Brees, so you've got your top of the range pretty well defined, 120 and $20 or so, $15 on the downside. And you can see that they ignore the spikes and just look at the clusters. And the trend is down, but it does happen from time to time. Just low ball in that area if you want that card and see what happens. All right, a couple hockey. Connor McDavid, uptrend, broken, retesting the other side and traveling sideways. The previous range was roughly $3,000 to $4,000, and a break of that brings you to either $5,000 or $2,000. And so we've broken that, but it is finding a little bit of support in this area here with a few buys. So maybe $2,500 is enough, but we shall see. We shall see. So there could be a little bit more downside on this one, but as long as it holds in here, it seems interesting enough. But a lot of sideways action for these, sideways to down for a lot of these things, unless you're really lighting it up in season, it doesn't seem like a ton of demand for your cards. So Wayne Gretzky continues to travel down, but like a lot of things, hitting the support zone and getting a little bit of a bounce. See if that can happen here. So risk reward is favorable in the PSA 7 until it isn't, and we'll wind it up here with Venusaur. Yeah, all right, Pokemon. A lot of sideways action on this one, and a lot of these Pokemon, they kind of did the same thing, which makes sense. So a big move up, and now just kind of consolidating for a long time. So we'll see which direction it wants to go, but this is near the bottom of its range, at least for now. So when Pokemon has their off season, maybe they'll start to ramp it up, and then when Pokemon has their championship, then you sell it. So all right, that's what I got for you. Have a terrific weekend, and we will talk to you later. Bye now.